So Mike asked a question yesterday to us in our chat group. Are the Browns the most likely team that didn't make the playoffs to make the playoffs this year?
He sent that in the group chat?
Well, in the rundown.
Oh, okay. Say it like that.
All right. Well, whatever.
I was like, dang, I overlooked that chat.
So I thought about this, and before I sent it to you guys, I don't know that in my opinion, there's no clear team that's overly likely to make the playoffs that didn't make it last year. However, we know history tells us that there's always new teams, and often there's as many as 4, 5, 6, or even 7 new teams that make the playoffs every year. The NFC in particular is wide open.
Yes.
So before we answer this question, before we answer the question of are the Browns more likely than any other team that didn't make was to make it, tell me the teams that you guys think, barring, right, obviously if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt or Joe Burrow gets, barring that, forget injuries to their quarterback. Who are the teams that made the playoffs last year?
That made the playoffs?
That you'd be stunned if they don't make it this year. Because there are plenty that, you think, okay, they won't make it. So
after this, we'll show you the teams that missed the playoffs to give everyone the pool of teams to choose from for the upcoming playoffs.
The teams that I'd be stunned that didn't make it.
Didn't make it.
Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City, the Chargers,
You'd
Philly.
be stunned if the Chargers didn't make it?
I'd be stunned.
G, would you be stunned if the Chargers didn't make it? I wouldn't.
No.
Philly.
Okay.
Minnesota in that terrible division.
But really? I wouldn't be stunned if Minnesota didn't make it.
That terrible division that they
Detroit should be better.
That terrible division that they in.
I don't think it's that terrible.
They in the NFC. Worst case, they'd be the second. They still make it on this wild card team.
So let me.
I got 5. I got 6 teams, guys. Let me tell you what.
Let's hear it.
Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, because their division is awful.
Yes.
And they're good. Philadelphia and San Francisco. To me, those are the only 6 teams that I'll be, and that doesn't mean all 6 are going to make it. I'll be stunned, or at least very, very surprised if those 6 teams don't make it. To me, those are the only 6. Not San Diego, definitely not Minnesota.
They ain't been San Diego for like
or LA, whatever.
6 years.
G, what say you?
I got 4 teams.
What do you got?
Man, give me the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Eagles, and the 49ers. The rest of y'all can get smoked.
All right, the 2 that I had in there that you don't are Buffalo. You don't think Buffalo's?
Listen, I think Buffalo been skating for a while.
What about Jacksonville in that division? You don't, only because of their division, not that they're that great.
I just saw them go 1-something though.
I know, but that's okay. That's fair. I just picked them because of their division. I just think the other teams all suck.
Now they got a good chance, but I wouldn't be surprised.
So you've got like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I've got 6. G's got 4. The point is, if the ones we agree on is 4. All right? But even if you say 6 and go split the difference between us, that's still 8 spots where kind of anything can happen, if not more. So now let's look at the teams who didn't make the playoffs last year.
These are in no particular order.
Okay.
These are just teams that did not make the playoffs in 2022.
I'm going to mention the teams. When you put the list up, I'm going to mention teams that I think you can make a case they'll make it. If they're not in that list, I'm not even going to acknowledge them.
All right, so the first slide, and once again, this is strictly in no order, just the teams. Let's take the first one. The Browns.
All right, so you got Browns, Jets, Patriots, Steelers, Broncos. I think you can make a case all 5 teams in this list could potentially make the playoffs. Do you guys agree?
Not Denver and not the Patriots.
Okay. You think there's no chance the Patriots Steelers make the playoffs?
No, I don't think Patriots.
I think both are unlikely, but I wouldn't.
And in the division that they in, no.
But you guys, there's always surprise teams every year.
Yes.
Not them.
Again, if you're asking me, do I think the Steelers or Patriots are going to make the playoffs? Absolutely not. Do I think there's a chance, unlike some of the other teams we're going to see? I would say at least there's a chance.
If I wasn't a NFL employee, I bet you on that one. But I can't.
Well, but what are you betting? I'm not saying they're going to make it. I would just give them.
I would bet that they wouldn't make it no matter what.
Well, I would agree no matter what. Okay, well, all right, go ahead, Mike. Next one. You're with me, you said?
I'm with you on the Patriots. I actually do believe they have a chance. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they made the playoffs.
I think those 4 teams, I think the Raiders I'd put in the same thing. I think they have a chance, not a great chance.
I give them a chance.
The other 3 to me have no chance. Titans, Colts, Texans, no chance.
See,
I would flip-flop. I would say the Titans just because Mike Vrabel, like he get his dudes to play pretty much the same way.
But they fell apart last year. I think they're done. All right,
I would give the Colts a chance.
The Colts?
I get the Colts a chance.
Richardson?
Yeah.
Is he going to play?
Because of the two-headed monster that think about it. If they run, they got the dude from the Eagles, the OC from the Eagles, so they're bringing the RPO. RPO with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. Are you kidding me?
Anthony Richardson can play?
Who doesn't matter? Even if he's a running threat.
I just saw him.
Yeah. Are you serious?
I was up late last night in the lab with a pen and pad trying to get his label off. But by the way, I just saw him miss 12 straight passes against Florida State last year. 12 straight. They're like, Anthony Richardson.
What did he go, 4th pick in the draft?
Hey, listen, they be picking on upside.
Listen.
They be picking on upside,
They not asking him to, listen, you telling me I can't fake this right here, see this linebacker step up and throw a slant right behind him?
I'm not even sure he's starting the season as the quarterback.
Who is the starter?
Who else do they have there? They have a veteran.
Isn't it Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, Gardner Minshew.
Watch it.
Yeah,
Gardner Minshew went toe-to-toe with, didn't they beat Dallas?
Tyvis, you know good and well, if you had to choose between a veteran middle guy and playing against Richardson, you personally would love to play against Richardson because he's going to give you two plays he's going to be confused about just because y'all are veterans.
Yeah,
2 to 3.
But in the same breath, with Richardson in there, now I got to worry about him running the ball.
We would let the backers.
What do you mean? No. He's bigger than the backers.
Hey, I get it.
This dude bigger than the linebackers.
The Texans are the only team we all agreed have no chance to make the playoffs in the AFC.
Oh, it's going to take a while.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
I don't believe that.
Next, let's go to the NFC now with some teams that I think are a lot of The Commanders. The Lions, I think, have a chance. Packers, Bears, and Cardinals, I all think are going to stink this year. The NFC is just a giant
I think the Lions certainly have a chance. I think the Packers, it depends how good Love is. Like, we've never really seen him play. Everybody is, and I think I'm in this group, most people are writing him off as if he sucks.
Who?
What's his name?
Bryce Young?
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
He's never played, really.
You know what I like about the Packers?
No, the one bad thing about Jordan Love is when he did have his opportunity to play, he had Devontae Adams, and for some odd reason they couldn't hook up. You telling me you can't get right with the best wide receiver in the league?
But wait a second. How much did he play with Devontae Adams? How much did he play?
He played like 2 games.
Did he? Mike, how many games has Jordan Love played?
Jordan Love has played in 4 career games.
Yeah.
I take that back. He's technically played in 10 games. He's made 1 start.
How many passes has he thrown in the NFL?
83.
He's only thrown 83 regular season passes. And essentially 2 games.
And I bet you like 60 of them was to Devontae.
But I will say this. Yeah. They got the two-headed monster.
They got a good backfield.
Aaron Jones and Dillon, they can run play action.
Christian Watson.
They like Christian Watson. I like them a little bit. I think they can be sneaky.
The NFC is so wide open that any team's got a most.
That division is kind of wide open. The only team that Minnesota don't. Unless Alexander Madison is that deal, they don't.
Well, they must think he is because they let Cook go.
I mean,
he was pretty good.
We took their best 2 D linemen.
Yeah, He said they're a lock to make the playoffs. I don't see it. I like Detroit. I think they're getting overhyped, but I like them.
Division is Detroit is the only team that has a shot.
I don't know. I mean, what about your boy Justin Fields? Everybody was excited. I'm not as high on him as most people
I'm not sure about the offensive line. I know they tried to address it, but I don't know if they really concrete addressed it.
Commanders? Anybody think the Commanders got a shot to make the playoffs?
The Commanders can with Eric Bieniemy calling the plays, and they got the wide receivers.
Who's their starting quarterback?
Sam Howell. And then Jacoby Brissett's the backup.
Baker
I don't know if Sam Howell can play.
He like Baker.
Well, so he's not that good?
Well, he had moments.
He got medium sauce.
He got moments.
They got moments.
Listen, they high on him.
A 4-pack of teams left that missed the playoffs last year to talk about. Quickly, the Rams, Buccaneers, Falcons, and Panthers.
The Rams depend on Matt Stafford. I mean, if Matt Stafford,
right.
I think he's cooked, but if he's back to the old Matt Stafford, then they got a shot.
Cooper Kupp got injured.
But Cooper Kupp's back.
Matt Stafford's supposed to be
I actually like Cam Akers. I think he's a pretty good back. I don't know what happened there.
The one who didn't score until like the last.
I know they weren't using him earlier in the year, and then he was good late in the season, but.
You going to pick him up in fantasy?
I don't know. I'm not telling you. I'm giving away my secrets.
I'm not going to take him.
Hey, man, when is the draft, by the way, Bull? Come on, man.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
I mean, Tampa Bay, they suck. Atlanta.
Do they suck?
Yeah, Tyvis, you can't say. I mean, I guess you could
think
say
so.
every team.
They
still has a
wanted
chance,
them.
but-
Did they not go to the playoffs
They
last
had
year?
Tom Brady last year.
So what?
You know who they got on their team.
What are you talking about?
You know Baker.
They had the worst running game in the league, and now they're starting either Baker Mayfield or some other slappy
Kyle Trask.
with the worst running game in the league last year.
They got Rashard White, whatever his name
You don't even know his
is.
name.
Ricky Romero.
What's his name? What's the dude name that played running back for the?
I'm not even gonna tell you.
It
They
is
have
like-
no chance to make the
It's like
playoffs.
Ricardo White or Rashard White or something like that.
You're close, but there is a much better chance that the Buccaneers end up with the first overall pick in next year's draft than they do of making the playoffs.
I was listening to.
That's tough, man.
I was listening to my man Jonathan Peterlin yesterday.
Big fan of JP.
He was filling in on my old show for Nick. It was Jonathan and Dustin, and Jonathan said the Buccaneers are going to start the guy that gives them the better chance to lose because they are tanking.
Yes.
I believe in tanking, and they may very well do that.
Yeah, Caleb Williams and Drake May would have been the first two quarterbacks drafted this year if they were eligible to come out.
I gotta
like-
watch this.
This Drake May. Listen,
I gotta watch
I
this.
gotta
I
watch
never
this.
even heard of him.
I gotta watch
Drake May,
I
he's at
don't-
North Carolina.
I
He ain't got his number one threat no more.
I don't like
Josh Downs.
North Carolina quarterbacks.
Wasn't the last one Mitch Trubisky?
Trubisky, Sam Howell. Every year they just get a dude.
Sam Howell.
People be liking their names.
That's true.
Drake May. That sounds like a ball
sounds
player.
good, yeah.
7-on-7.
Drake
G.
May.
Bush, does it change your opinion on Drake May if you knew he was a five-star kid out of high school who committed to Alabama first and then transferred out when Bryce Young was there?
Everybody a 5-star in high school. Apparently, Ohio State got a couple 5-stars and they're trash. I'm gonna tell you that this year. They are trash.
whoa.
They got a 2-5. You get on the collective and get us somebody out that portal, Tyvis, because them
guy?
two boys, they gonna get it done. They ain't get it done.
What's
I'm
that,
sorry.
Mike?
I'll say, let's get back to the question
let's
at
get
hand
back
here,
to
though.
this.
So we've gone through the teams.
Okay.
We've given a lot of teams chances. Do the Browns have the
All right.
best chance?
Well, let's talk about some of the teams, guys, before we make our picks as to whether or not the Browns have the best chance to make playoffs. Let's discuss some of the teams that we think have the the Browns certainly are in the group of teams that have the best chance. I think we'd all agree
Yes.
with that, right?
Yes.
Would we agree that the Jets are in that group?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would we agree that the Lions are in that group? or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
G, you going to put them in there?
Yeah, I'll throw them in there.
Okay.
They're a sexy pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go 5 and something.
Can you go back to that previous screen, guys? Anybody else from that group? You guys don't like the Steelers or I don't think the Steelers would be in that group.
I don't like the Broncos.
so we're going to eliminate. So we're going to take off the Steelers.
The Broncos, the Patriots.
So we got the Browns and the Jets as two candidates. Steve, go
Yes.
to the next one.
I take everybody off the next page.
So we have two. Anyone
Me,
from
I
this
do. You guys think any of these teams belong in that?
anyone from this list has a better chance
Nah.
than the Browns or the Jets? No.
No.
Next one, Steve.
No.
Anyone from this list?
I think the Lions belong in
Lions.
there.
So we have three.
Lions. That's it.
I don't want to say the Packers.
I don't want to
Packers is fringe.
because of the
Packers
division
are a
that they
wild
in.
card.
It's 'cause
Like,
of
how
the
good is
division.
Jordan Love? We just have no idea.
Right.
But he's not a rookie.
Right.
He's been in the league a while.
And a coordinator, he's
I'm
called.
putting the Packers in that group.
So four. And last one, Steve. None of these teams.
I gotta
I
put the
got
Rams.
Rams. I thought the
about to
Rams.
say the
Stafford.
Rams.
I got to put the Rams in there.
So that means we have five teams for this conversation: the Browns, the Jets, the Lions, the Packers, the Rams.
And
Which team?
And the
out of
Falcons.
those
Shout out
five-
to Nathan Zagura.
Why the Falcons?
Because I told him that they was they was gonna win the Super Bowl in like a few
Who's
years.
their quarterback again?
Desmond Ritter, a.k.a. not in the same conversation.
Desmond Ritter.
So those five
He's from
teams, do the Browns have the
Cincinnati.
best chance out of those five to make the postseason this year?
The Rams, Green Bay, Lions, Jets, and Browns.
Yes.
Is he between the Browns? It's really between the Browns, the Jets, and the Lions.
To be truthful, this shouldn't even. If you just look at on paper, the Browns have gotten considerably better since last year. If you look at the roster for roster of them teams, the Browns by far have a better roster. Like I
Then
can
who?
argue, I
Then
can
who?
point, but then those other, because I could go to the Browns roster and be like, I arguably got 3 or 4 guys on my team that are the best at their position. in the
Name
entire
them.
league.
Right, but
Name
it's not just about that.
Name them.
Myles Garrett,
Okay.
Chubb,
Okay.
Batonio.
Okay.
You got 3. Those are the 3.
Those are the three.
Deshaun Watson, maybe.
And if Deshaun Watson is playing like top 5 Deshaun Watson, there's nothing to talk about.
Well, there's other factors here. First of all, first of all, the division that you're in and the AFC, right? The Lions.
Yeah, I don't know
The
about
Lions are in the NFC.
NFC is different.
And when you look at the NFC,
It's wide open.
outside of Philadelphia
And San
and
Francisco.
San Francisco, I don't know who's good. Like the teams that made the playoffs.
I think Seattle's good.
See, I don't.
I
I think Seattle and the Giants. I'll be shocked if those teams go back to the playoffs.
Man, I wish I could say I put some money down on the Seahawks.
That's why I can't. When
Like,
you
how
got
good is Dallas?
Geno Smith. Like, so you telling me that the Geno Smith Seahawks is going to be better than the Browns? You can't have that.
But however,
It's possible.
the one thing I'll say, even though I
He
think
had one of
the
the
Lions
most,
have a good chance, and he played well last year. But I just don't trust Jared Goff. Now,
Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl and they moved on from him.
Right.
That's pretty.
Now
messed
he's
up.
got a lot of talent.
But he got.
They are
Listen,
loaded with talent.
Jared Goff has no choice but to have an unbelievable season because they've already drafted his replacement with the kid from Tennessee.
Yeah, but he's not playing this
No,
year.
not this season,
Yeah.
but they have their
Right.
eyes on him for
But
sure.
if you look at skill position talent, the Lions are right up. I mean, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. He's been phenomenal his first 2 years. When I missed a little time last year. You know, they got
They stopped gambling. They had a receiver.
Jameson Williams will be out a little bit. I like their backs. Defensively, they're just trash defensively. But they got Hutchinson up there. Didn't they draft somebody else on the D-line again? I think they went and got it
Who
drafted.
is they corn? Oh, they got my boy E-Man.
in
Shout out
fairness-
E-Man. You gonna lock somebody up.
In fairness, guys, we're not studying the Lions and their offseason improvements like we are the Browns. Like, we're not paying that close attention. A move like Juan Thornhill or Obo Okonkwo, we're not paying attention to those type of moves. Yeah, if it's a blockbuster move, you're paying attention to it. But you're not paying attention to those type of moves with the Lions or Elijah Moore type of move. The more I think about it, I do think I'm actually going to – well, you guys go first. Go ahead, Tyvis. You tell me.
You gonna pick the Browns. That's what you about to say.
ahead.
So we narrowed it down to 3: the Jets, the Browns, and the Lions.
Right.
I wanna jump on this Jets bandwagon, and I want to say that the Jets, but the division that they in is tough because they got Buffalo and Miami, and even the Patriots in there, so that scares me. But the
AFC
Browns,
North is equally
the Browns is the same way.
Yeah.
I think it got to be Detroit because it's because they in the NFC.
G. Bush.
That's a very if we playing it like that, that's a good answer. Family Feud, good answer. I'm gonna say this, man. I have never seen in my life a smaller sample size sway the opinion on a elite quarterback. I have never seen 6 games knock somebody from the top of the food chain down to oh my God, we don't even if you look at those 6 games and you look at what I put the stats up. He has 100 and I think he has 111 touchdown passes and only about 41 interceptions. Look at this is career stats. And people took these stats, threw them out the window, and said, let's talk about 6 games.
I don't think that
That's crazy to me.
I don't necessarily think that people were out on Deshaun because of that. I think they were out because of the coach. I think that's what it was. I don't think people don't believe in Deshaun. I think people don't believe in Kevin.
See, I think it's a combination of all of it. I think G. Bush is right that a lot of people just said, this is what he is now. He's this guy who sucked for 6 games.
No, that's blasphemy.
Well, we may all agree.
That's
but I think
blasphemy.
he's
If
right
anybody
there are
thinks
people
that,
like
that's blasphemy.
I think some of it's the coach. I think some of it's more on the fact that not only did he play poorly for 6 games, but he's only played those 6 games in 2 years.
Yeah.
And he's had some injuries.
Well,
I think it's fair to say.
He had injuries?
years ago.
He's torn both his ACLs, hasn't he?
Deshaun?
I don't know if he's torn both, but he's had 2 ACL surgeries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say to be a little nervous that has something happened. Is he mentally scarred from everything that's happened over the last year? And because people don't like him, they're gonna want to go to the negative. That's what happens. if you like somebody, you're gonna point to all the positives. Mm-hmm. If Deshaun Watson had none of the off the field stuff, but let's say he had sat out an entire year because he didn't want to play for the Texans, and then he got traded to the Browns, none of the off the field stuff, but he got hurt. He missed 11 games, came back and played 6, and played like crap in those 6 games. Same thing. There would be way less negativity way less. Oh, he is that 6 games.
Yeah.
It's because there's a lot of people out there that want him to suck now.
Yeah.
And so they're saying, well, he sucks now.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit. Like it's just like, that's a really good point. Like if he was just hurt and came back, they give him all the benefit of the doubt. They'll say
100%.
new system, try to get his
Right.
legs underneath him.
I'm trying to think of a
line.
situation. Is the closest situation to him Michael Vick?
Yes,
Even that,
almost kind of.
yes, but even that, Michael Vick was a lot older when he came back, right? Wasn't he already in his 30s?
Deshaun Watson and the situation that he's in now and has been the last 2 years, missing games at that young of an age, we have never seen something like that in NFL
especially if
history.
you throw in the fact of how good he was before that. It wasn't like he was okay before that.
And I think
he
part
was
of the
excellent
reason,
before that.
I think part of the reason people have such a hard time processing this, figuring out where he fits in the hierarchy, thinking he fell off, thinking he's going to blow through every expectation, is we don't have any precedent for this. We have never seen
That's true.
anything like this. So whatever happens is uncharted waters, good or bad.
When I seen what I seen at that day, I went to mini camp.
I'm
That boy locked in this year. That's all I'm gonna say. He locked in.
I will say, Tyvis. I think Tyvis, you are right. The closest thing is Mike Vick went to jail when he was 27, in the prime of his career, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? A year?
He did 23 months. In
So how old was he when he came back? Was he 30, right?
He was 29. Well, 30.
It was just about
30.
How old is Deshaun now?
Deshaun's 27, I believe.
So he went.
Okay, so he's 3 years younger, which makes a difference. Number 2, he's a way better quarterback than Michael Vick was.
He
better.
But Michael Vick came back to Philly and it started off
Deshaun is
slow. But he
27.
Started off slow, and then he was great. He had
that
one
boy
great year.
turned up.
And you look at it like, I don't want people to diminish this. Like when people say people hate people, you look at what Michael Vick is today. Michael Vick has made one of the biggest turnarounds ever as far as being in the media spotlight and people going from they hate you. Listen, there are people that love their pets more than humans.
Yeah.
Like you can't underestimate how
that
many
was huge.
people hated this man's guts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they did.
And like the fact that he went to federal prison. Deshaun didn't go to prison. He sat out, but he wasn't inside the prison wall. Talk about what that does to your mental psyche. He had to go to jail. So I think that's the closest thing, but I'll give you credit for the Deshaun Watson's a way better
To
physical
me, it's not
quarterback.
I mean, he's certainly not the runner Michael Vick is.
No,
But like in terms of being like throwing the ball, I don't think it's even close between those two guys.
No.
Like Michael Vick had no accuracy. He had a huge arm, but if I remember correctly,
I got the numbers right here.
Vic made some throws. Now, don't do that.
what was his
Vic has
career
to-
completion percentage?
Vic,
56.2.
56.2 career
And
completion percentage.
and before, so he missed 2
And he
full
was better in
seasons.
Philly, I think, right?
Yeah, so his career high completion percentage was 62.6, which
That's
is
his
the
career
year
high.
after he came back.
Right. But
and
by
had
the way,
his
that's
best
his career
season.
high. Watson's career is higher
higher.
than Michael Vick's season high.
Before he got suspended for those 2 seasons,
Yeah.
his highest career I'm going to read you all stats. He played
under
6
60.
seasons. Yeah. As a rookie, 44%. 54% his second year. 50% his third year. 56% his fourth year.
Yeah.
55% his fifth year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
52%.
Oh, Vic.
Now, in fairness to
Vic
Michael
revolutionized the game.
Michael Vick was
No,
great.
that's not a knock on Vick. It's
Right.
just saying
No, he
Deshaun Watson is
revolutionized the
significantly
game
better
with
as
his
a
running.
passer.
And to be fair, it's a different era. There weren't as many advantages for the offense now as there were in those days. You look at some of the completion percentages and the touchdown to interception ratios of even great quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks, earlier than Michael Vick, their numbers suck. They, if they put up those numbers now, they'd be out of jobs. But anyway,
My boy Vick had
I think. So who are you going with?
44%.
Are you going with who? Are you going with in the end?
Listen, in the end, if I believe that Deshaun Watson is back to top 10 fringe quarterback, I look at the rest of this roster, the moves they make. By far, the Cleveland Browns should be the team to make the playoffs. And if they don't, everybody's getting fired because this roster is just that good. You can't have the best running back, the best defensive end, one of the better secondaries. Every time we go through these lists, we got good offensive line. You look like you're going to be a little better in the special teams. You made moves. Come on. What are we doing here? You got to at least make the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars did it. Come on, man.
I think it's very close. And I as much as I think the NFC stinks, I actually think it's a nail biter between the Browns and the Jets.
Yeah.
Because the Jets are loaded with talent too.
Yes, they are.
Right? I mean, now and we're looking at their quarterback a lot the same way people are looking at Watson and saying, well,
The ayahuasca.
is he still great?
The ayahuasca guy.
Does Aaron Rodgers have one more great year in him? Remember, Tom Brady in his last year in New England looked like he was on the decline.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't bad, but he looked like he was on the decline. And then he went to Tampa, and he was rejuvenated.
Brett Favre also did that when he went to
Brett
Minnesota.
Favre, too.
It seems like those veterans get like a second win. They get more invigorated.
And if that happens, well, I think there's a good chance both the Browns and Jets will make the playoffs, replacing Baltimore and who was the other wild card team?
Miami.
And Miami or the Chargers. I think they're right there. I will go with the Browns by 50.1% to 49.9% over the Jets. I think it's that close. I think the Jets offense is loaded. They're loaded at wide receiver. Yeah. If Breece Hall bounces back, if he's healthy, that guy looked like an absolute superstar last year. We know what they got at corner. I mean, they are fantastic there. Kid, didn't he win? Wasn't he the best corner in the league last year?
No, he won Defensive Player of the Year. He was all pro,
Right.
though. He was all pro.
I mean, all-pro is a rookie at corner.
He is not. No one's caught a ball on him in ever.
I mean, the guy's ridiculous.
G. Bush said earlier that the Browns may have 3 players who are the best individual players at their position.
Yeah.
The Jets, Garrett Wilson's not the best wide receiver in the league,
No.
but he's close. But Sauce Gardner might very well be the best cornerback, and
Yes.
Quinnen Williams might be the best defensive tackle in all of football, too.
And I do believe, you can't say it now, but I do believe that both Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson over the next year or two could be in the conversation for best running back and best wide receiver.
And Garrett, and this is his thing about Aaron Rodgers. He spoon feeds people. Remember the way he used to spoon feed Jordy Nelson?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dang, this guy Devontae Adams. Garrett Wilson might have 1,700 next year. I'm not going to lie to you,
He
bro.
could put up huge numbers. I agree with you.
Aaron Rodgers, in that back shoulder, there's one thing he can do. He'll back shoulder fade the hell out of anything. And I'm like, how are you doing? If he get on the same page with him, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a headache.
So Tyvis is going with the Lions. You and I both going with the Browns. I got Browns 1, Jets 2, Lions 3.
Yeah, and just think about it. This is why it don't matter what the NFL does. We rail on them all the time. The reason why the NFL is what it is because we can literally sit here and have 50% to 49%. That just shows the amount of parity from year to year. All these teams are good teams.
I mean, think about it. How many teams are there that you would say have no chance whatsoever to make the playoffs?
Arizona Cardinals.
Right? Houston. There's not that many.
It's not like it's not like no. There's not that many that you say no.
I would say probably, and in the NFC, there's not enough good teams to say anybody couldn't make it. Really, I don't know. I mean, Dallas and Minnesota are the teams that usually look like they make it. Tampa Bay fell off a little bit. Right, I think Tampa won't make it. I think Atlanta probably won't. But
who you got making it out of that division? The NFC South.
It's a good question. I guess the Saints.
So I was bugging Tyvis for the Falcons pick.
Yeah.
It honestly wouldn't shock me if the Falcons made the playoffs, but I wouldn't bet on them as more than the other
Honestly,
teams.
the winner of that division could be 8-9.
That's what happened last year, ain't it?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Were they 8-9, the Bucks? Yeah, you're right. They might be 7-10. I mean, who's quarterbacking? So you got probably Baker in Tampa.
Derek
Carr in
New Orleans.
I think they might.
Bryce
they got a
Young
shot.
and Desmond Ritter.
Hey, Derek Carr.
I gotta lean with. I don't love Derek Carr. I think he's overrated. He's never won a playoff game, by the way.
Crazy.
He's played in one. That was against the Bengals 2 years ago, and he lost. It's the only time he's ever played in a playoff game. He's never won a playoff game.
Well, if Mike Thomas stay healthy and he has Chris Olave, that'd be he'd be go Bucks.
What are the odds Mike Thomas is playing? Michael Thomas playing.
Mike Thomas was hot when he was playing. Them little 5 games, he scored like 4 times.
I mean,
Olave's great.
Olave's great.
They still got Alvin Kamara.
He getting suspended for the year, I think.
It's up in the air. I don't know if he's getting suspended. Who did they bring in? Didn't they bring in another back? New Orleans?
Jamal Charles. Not Jamal. Jamal
say.
Williams.
Jamal coming out of retirement?
Jamal Williams from Detroit.
Yeah, Jamal Williams had great. Scored like 15 touchdowns last year.
He was all on the goal line.
Not really. He's a good player.
I like him. He's a nice back. He's a nice back.
And they got a good defense.
That's the biggest toss-up.
But you know who they got as the DC?
Joe Woods. How do you get a DC job?
If New Orleans defense is top 5, I'm laugh. I'm really gonna laugh.
That just goes to show you.
I'm really gonna laugh.
Hey, and I want everybody to question this: why, when somebody new get hired, we know that statistically there are bad players and there are bad coaches, but why every single time you change somebody, every fan base and every media? That they got so-and-so, I believe that's a great hire.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to come in and change. Bro, he got fired here, bro. How's that a good hire? Like, listen, and trust me, you know, the NAACP used to get on me. They'd be like, hey, lay off Joe Woods.
Tell you what.
Lay off Joe. We ain't got that many brothers up there. I'm like, no.
One thing we going to find out this year is if it was Joe or if it was the players, and I'm very curious.
We're gonna find out a lot. There are no excuses for the Browns.
For neither one. Yeah.
Got to get to the playoffs this year.